Yes, people, welcome back. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another match preview. Chelsea versus Atletico Madrid, the fixture that we've been looking forward to the last 3 or 4 weeks ever since our last game in the first leg in Bucharest. And for Chelsea, it's the chance for us to do something we haven't done since 2014 and make it through to the Champions League quarterfinals. It's a very, very big game for us. And it's also about us making a push that we haven't done in years. We haven't really noticed it too much, but we've low-key been moving a little bit like Arsenal in the groups in the Champions League, always getting into the last 16 and getting knocked out by better opposition. But nobody notices because we've been out of the Champions League for a few periods. We've been in Europa League for a few periods as well. So it hasn't really looked as consistent, but we need to start breaking this duck of just always getting to the last 16 and dropping points. So this is a massive game. And even if we're going into this game with a bit of confidence with a 1-0 win and the away goal from Bucharest, there's still plenty to play for. Still a big 90 minutes ahead. If Atletico Madrid get one goal, we're back level on aggregate, and everything we did in the first leg means absolutely nothing. But yeah, it's Chelsea versus Atletico Madrid. I've got Kendall with me as well to preview this. What are you saying? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good. I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because, Premier League football to me right now is like nervy B. So this is like exciting.
Yeah, nice little switch up as well from Newcastle. I'm guessing not much has changed around Newcastle and still.
No, absolutely nothing's getting worse. So with the Brighton win at the weekend, it's just worse. So got to find.
How far are you guys off the drop now, or are you not even in the drop?
I know we're 17th, but I don't know how far away from Fulham we are at this point because they got beat at the weekend, so I can't remember now. But we are still 17th.
2 points. No, I just got the table up now. 2 points difference. So it was like 10 the last time we spoke, wasn't it?
It was a bigger gap, yeah. But our form's been awful. They got a couple of wins in their last 5, and we've had 3 draws and 2 losses. So, they've been getting random points from places that we cannot. So, it's just looking so peak right now. Honestly, I'm really just sick of it at the moment. So sick.
I can only imagine. Hopefully things get better for you guys. Although, to be fair, when you got dropped to the Championship, Loki, I feel like you'd enjoy it more because there's more games you got a chance to win.
I don't want to drop to the Championship, but like the last actual enjoyable season I had was the 2016, like when we won the Championship in 2016. So that was the last time I actually enjoyed football.
Yeah, because it makes a difference in defensive football.
Yeah, like my team, but I don't really want to be there, but like in the Championship, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess, at this point. Nothing I can do, so.
I hear that. Scott, as well, what are you saying? You good?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Theoretically, we should not come. I was going to say comfortable. It's not comfortable. We should be going through based on the result before. But like what you said, if they get a goal, then it's back to square one. It's all got to do it all over again. But you'd think with the fact that Atletico now have to come out a bit more, that we should probably be doing a bit better. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see what happens. Obviously, the only game that we really have to go off between the two of us was the first leg. And it was an Olivier Giroud won the goal that was the difference between the two sides. And the first thing I wanted to ask, we never really spoke about this after the game as well. What were your thoughts coming out of the match with the way Atletico Madrid played? And also, what were your thoughts on Chelsea too?
I was just thinking to myself, like, I really didn't want the game to go the way that I did. But I did say, I think it was on this stream, I said Giroud was the one I was worried about. I knew that straight away. And I also said that it was going to be like a game of tactics and one goal was going to win it. And I was right. I just knew the way it was going to go. I just wish it had gone our way, but obviously it didn't. And in all honesty, we just sat back and let you attack the ball, which is what I didn't want. And it's what happened. We didn't really get going until like midway through the second half. And even then, it was at that point, it was just too late. Chelsea, a couple of the players like Alonso, Christensen had unreal games, like really, really good. And we have all our players back now, luckily, because we were missing like 3 or 4 first team players, and a couple had just come back from coronavirus. So hopefully we're back in the swing of things now. And it's better because we've obviously got a more attacking mindset now with the players that have come back. So Carrasco's back. Obviously Jimenez is back, who will slot straight into defence, I think. So Felix was just recovering from COVID. So hopefully we're more settled, more cohesive going forward. And Simeone in his press conference said he's just got one mindset, and that's to go out to win. So I'm hoping that it's just going to be on the front foot, and the back four stays the way it is, because Trippier's back now as well, and he dictates a lot of the play from the back. So fingers crossed it goes better than the first leg. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, how many players are meant to be back for this game that was injured? Is that
We have
everybody?
not one injury at this point. No injuries.
Trippier back from the ban as well.
Trippier's back. Yeah, Trippier's back from the ban. He came back the 3rd of March. Carrasco's back. He's played 3 games now. Jimenez is back. He's played 1 game. I can't remember who else was out. I think that was the main people that was out. That was it. Obviously, Felix had just come back from COVID, so he was lagging a little bit, but he's better now. So yeah, everyone's back now, so it's good. Good news.
Interesting. That's why I didn't want to take too much in the first leg into consideration, because I was happy with the scalp. Atletico Madrid are one of the best teams in the world right now, and that's going to fill the team with a lot of confidence. But same way, we can't get overhyped with it, because we got so overhyped in the first half of the season. I'm now trying to take each game for what it is with context and everything like that. And if we can get a result against you in the second leg, that's what's going to make me even more confident about the squad that we have. But it's going to be a real test of our character over the 90 minutes. Scott, what was your thoughts?
On what the Athletic game, the previous?
Previous game.
Like Kendall said, it's kind of what we expected in terms of Atletico. They sat back at times. They had 6 people just in a line, just because that's the way it was going to be. They were looking to not concede and then come and score against us away from home. But I felt like Kendall said as well, there was people that stepped up. I thought Alonso had a great game against Correa. That was one area we thought Correa's going to just rinse him, and he never did. I thought that Christensen had a good game. I thought that there were people that didn't have as good games. Like, I didn't think Giroud had a good game up until he scored, but that's what Giroud can bring you. The only sort of negatives I felt from the first game of the 2 bookings, as it meant that Jorginho and Mount are now out for this game. But that just comes, like, you have that in football. That can happen at times. It's just how you deal with it. And I think us having Kovacic fully fixed, he didn't play against Leeds, is a big help with that. I think us being able to have the same front 3 theoretically we did against Everton, I think is also good. It means that hopefully we should be a lot more decisive in terms of getting in behind Atletico, which I think the space will be there this game, because they have to come out at us a bit more. The only thing that worries me in terms of this game is, like Kendall said, they're fully fit, their team. Carrasco's back. You've got a fully fit Suarez and Felix, which will both be starting. Simeone have said they'll both be starting. I'm interested to see whether there's any, what's the word I'm trying to think of, like, problems, for lack of a better term, with Jimenez coming back with only his 2nd game back. Whether he plays, to be fair, he might not play. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if there's much differences with the fact that they're fully fit now.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm most looking forward to as well, because I feel like we're going to see the real Atletico Madrid in this match, not just in terms of them defensively, but also in terms of how much they can offer going forward too, because they have to chase this game. And even though I do think they're going to have some sort of a defensive mindset going into this game, I feel like at the very least, as the game progresses, if we can keep them at bay, they're going to start pushing more bodies forward, and that might open the game up a bit more potentially. Looking at the last few games, though, since our last match, because before then you were in really bad form going into the first leg. I think you'd had 1 win in 4 before we faced each other in the first leg, but since then you've been unbeaten with 2 wins and 2 draws. And other than the injuries and the players returning, what's changed and what's been the impact since then?
So a lot of Premier League fans always laugh when I say this because of what they seen of him last time. But since Trippier's come back, so before his ban, he played every single game from since the start of the season, and he dictates a lot of our attack and play going forward, because he doesn't play as a right wing back, because he plays like in a back 4. But the way he directs the ball, and him and Llorente together, is so good. So when we didn't have that, and we sort of didn't have any creativity coming from the back then, because we were playing with a back 3, so it just meant we had 3 basic defenders, and Koke was kind of fitting in as a DM. Now we've got him back, the attacking force is there again. And I know obviously a lot of Tottenham fans and just Premier League fans in specifics will be like, really? Like, he really changes your game that much, but he really does. And I think that surprises a lot of people, but he's been such a solid introduction to that squad. It's been really, really good. And obviously when that right-hand side with him and Llorente and then Suarez as well on the end of the creativity going forward, it's just phenomenal. So I just hope that now everyone's fit, they can pick back up in the league again, because obviously we have got the squad back that we started our winning the league run with, if you will. So everyone's back now. Just it'll take a couple of games to get back into the swing of things, I think, and find the formation again, because they have switched it up so much with all the injuries. So hopefully, because it's getting tighter again, we're 6 points clear now. But we had a game in hand before, which we don't have now. So obviously the last couple of games of the season is going to be really, really telling. And I did think that when we played Real Madrid 3 games ago, that whoever won that game was going to win the league when it was a draw. So I was like, okay, well, that's not helpful at all. But the game was fine. It was just Benzema, obviously, in the 80th minute or something. Wasn't great defending, but yeah, as I say, fingers crossed everyone's back now, and it'll just take a couple of games just to get back into the form that they were in and to get settled again, I think.
Yeah, and I wanted to look at one player specifically in Joao Felix, and I wanted to see how he's been performing in the last few games too, because first leg he was coming back from the Rona, and yeah, he didn't really do much in the first leg, but I also took it as a pinch of salt. Obviously, we'll take the piss for banter's sake because it's funny and everything like that, but really and truly, we know that we didn't face the real Joao Felix in this match, and now with a few more weeks of game time and extra sharpness, how's he been looking the last few games? Does he look like he's in any way back to his best?
Well, no, because I've had a bit of an issue lately, because for some reason Simeone just doesn't want to start him every game. He normally comes on about 60 minutes for Korea, which has been the way it's happening lately. And obviously, anyone who knows that I follow Atleti knows that I'm not Korea's biggest fan. Not because I think he's crap. I just would prefer to see Felix. But now Carrasco's there. Felix was kind of fitting into Carrasco's role at that point, sort of on that side, on the left, and he just isn't now because Carrasco's come back and has played the last 3 games. It's either playing with the front 2, which they haven't been. They've been playing kind of 4-1-4-1. So there's not really anywhere for him to fit in that system. So I'm curious to see how they're going to set up against Chelsea, especially because I would like to see both of them. I would like to see Suarez and I would like to see Felix. I'm such a fan of Felix, and I feel like he is going to stagnate in this kind of system, not because it's defensive, because it isn't now. The attacking output and the defensive output are very similar, which it never used to be. So I don't think that's the problem. I just think it's the fact the system isn't made for him to thrive, if that makes sense, because they're just relying on Suarez to be the goal poacher, and Llorente and Carrasco on either of the wings to kind of use that creativity there. So I really don't know. I'm really upset that he's not getting the chance that I think he probably should have, especially the amount that they paid for him. Atletico have serious debt problems, which a lot of clubs in the Liga do. They paid a lot of money for him. They're still paying off their stadium. So I'm concerned that it's going to get to a point where they just think, we just need to recoup that money back for him, because it's not somewhere that he's not a player that's going to thrive under Simeone's system. It's just not made for him like that. So I do genuinely think probably in the next year he's not going to be here anymore.
Felix, you think he's going to be gone?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
We did talk yesterday about City needing someone.
Yeah, I do think it'll probably be City if he leaves.
Because we were thinking City could be potentially fighting with us for Erling Haaland. So we're saying Felix could be a second option.
Well, again, that's another thing. I think if Haaland goes elsewhere, I think Felix will be the next. It'll be the next one on everybody else's radar. So if clubs lose out on Haaland, I think Felix will be gone. The only thing is right now, because there's talks of obviously Jimenez leaving, and in the past 3 days, Saul's also told the club that he wants to leave, and his release clause is quite high, but they said they're gonna, I think it's 100 and something mil, but they said that they're gonna probably accept. Yeah, I think they said that they're gonna accept probably around 50. But Bayern are interested, so he's probably going to go to Bayern. When, I don't know, but he has wanted to leave for about a year now, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes. Now, I doubt they're going to let, if Saul goes, I doubt they're going to let Jimenez go as well, because I know obviously release clauses and things, but they're like two of the most senior players in that squad who have had the most experience in the system, and they're not going to want to lose two of the major players. So if Saul goes, I doubt Jimenez goes. And if they're not going to recoup the money for Saul, that's where I'm concerned that they're going to try and offload Felix. But yeah, I'll be gutted if he does, but I just can't see him staying for the long term. I just don't think it's somewhere he's going to thrive in the long term at all.
Do you think it's a case, and I think we spoke about this before the first leg as well, but I remember we were in for Jan Oblak this time during the summer, and one of the reasons why was because I think Atletico Madrid really need the cash.
Yeah.
Like, I think the virus had really impacted you lot
that's what
financially
concerns me
through the years.
hugely. Yeah,
You lot at the stadium as well.
Yeah, they're still paying off the stadium, and they've just got major debt problems. But as I say, a lot of La Liga clubs do. I don't think it's not to the extent of Barcelona, obviously, but it is still, a serious problem, which is where that's another thing. Like, they're just going to try and, if they know that that's an easily sellable asset, that's going to be where they're going to go. So yeah, it's concerning, but it is what it is. Football is what it is, I guess.
I hear that. Scott, are you got any thoughts?
I can. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult for me to say because I don't watch Atletico week in, week out, and I don't follow them as much to know, like, the Saul thing. No idea about that. I know there's been talk of them leaving for the past, 2 years or so, but I had no idea it got to that point where he's told them he wants to leave. Jimenez, I don't see leaving just because at the minute I'd say he's your best centre-back, or he's your most involved centre-back, with Godin leaving 2 years ago now, or a year and a half, whatever it is. So I don't see him leaving for anything less than his release clause, and no one's paying that. No one's paying 100 and what do we say it was the other, 120 million euros or whatever it was?
Yeah, a couple of the players have like over 100 million release clauses.
That's just what it is in Spain, isn't it? Because that's the same thing with like Barca players, with even like Bilbao players, because of like the nature of how they sign players.
They can only, it's somewhat different in their region, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just how it is in Spain. You get these massive release clauses. Yeah, I don't see him leaving. Felix, maybe, but I think it would only be a case of him not fitting the system, or the fact that City just want to go all out for him. But I'm in two minds because I feel City could go for him, but as I said yesterday, they are not the type of team to go and spend 100 million on a player. They'll go and spend 150 million on 3 or 4 different players. So they might do that, or they might just go and get someone like with Jesus, where they go and find someone that's going to cost them like 30, 40 mil from, I don't know, Brazil or Colombia or like somewhere in Italy from a team that's not quite at the top, and just develop him into an amazing player. But the only person I could see maybe leaving, just from what you said, based on who you said, was Saul. But I think you've got the players to be able to cope with him leaving. And I think we've seen where people have left in the past, Atletico, and you've been able to replace them. Maybe not a like for like or straight away, but you will, like Felix, for example. No one at the time, it didn't really work in terms of him replacing Griezmann, but he's started to come a bit better this season. It's the same with Oblak when Courtois left. He's now turned, for my money, he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just that just comes from from good scouting and be able to find like gems and players that you wouldn't necessarily think of.
All right, cool. Now looking at Chelsea as well, and I do want to big up loads of the donations as well, says AC Penitentiary is ready. What do you feel is the best way for you guys to try and breach Chelsea's defence? Because Tuchel's created a very strong defensive system for us. We've only conceded 2 goals since he's joined us. One of them was an own goal as well. So it's a game of 2 really strong defenses, and with you lot needing to come out and chase a goal in this game, what do you think is the best way for you guys to try and do that?
Pressure is one, because that's something we didn't do in the first leg. Didn't pressure at all, because it was just the way that we had to go into that game, the system that we had to play, and the players that we had available. That was just the way it was going to go. So pressure for one, and again now Carrasco is back. Him and Llorente on the wings. If we play wider and pull you out wide, obviously, if you go in again with the back 3, which I'm assuming maybe you probably will, that's going to be where we need to go, because in the middle of midfield, that's not where our creativity comes from a lot. So I just want us to be on the front foot from the off, because then obviously you cannot stay physically aware for 90 minutes. Like, you just can't. It's just impossible to be at that high intensity for 90 minutes, defensively and attacking wise. So if we're on the front foot from the off, as long as we don't concede first again, I think it'll ease into the game and we'll be more confident. But if we concede, then that's it. Like, it's game over for me. Then I don't think it's going to be like really, really tough to bring it back. So
Really?
yeah,
Because remember last season with Anfield, Ryan was also talking about it as well.
But because they're trying to win the league this year, I don't think they're going to be like go all out to go. Because like I probably can't see us, even if we get through, I can't see us really winning the Champions League.
Really?
Possibly, yeah. I just can't see it.
How come? Because I see you lot as one of the best teams in Europe.
Yeah, not because I don't think
like
we
there's a
can.
fair
I just think that it'll be very hard, especially like obviously there's teams in there like Bayern still, who I feel like they're probably going to be on, top form. City, so it's not an easy ride if we get through regardless. And plus the league is there for grabs this year, and I really think that is, and well, from what I'm going off, that is a big thing this year. Like, the league is what they want this year, and it should be after they were 12 points clear at one point. So that is going to be important. I don't know where the mindset's going to be. I'm concerned if we concede first, which we have been doing in the league lately. It's going to take a lot more to win the game, because obviously there's things like away goals, extra time. Like, it's the second leg, so I don't really want it to drag on as much as it has to. If we score first, then I'll be like, okay, it's game on now. Like, I feel like we'll probably go out and win it. But if we concede again, it's just going to be, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with football this year, me. I really can't. One team's getting relegated. One team's in the Champions League, about like going to win the league. Honestly, I'm sick. I'm tired.
Well, what is the title race looking for you guys then as well? Because how many points are you lot off Barca now?
I think it's 3.
Is it 3 points?
I was looking before, so I think it might be 3.
Yeah, they might have played after we did.
4.
So it was 6, and they've won their last game then. So yeah,
it's 4-point gap between you lot and Barca. But if you lot, what's your thoughts on the Liga title race? Because you don't even sound that confident about that.
I'm not, because as I say, we were so clear, and then obviously with all of the injuries, it kind of it's just left us in a bad position. I mean, we haven't lost the top spot for ages now. Like, we haven't gone away from first, but now the only good thing now is obviously everybody's back, so we can pick up the form again that we started the season with, and hopefully just get into the swing of things. Hopefully no more major injuries, because right now is like, it's a vital time. You need to continue with the form that you've got at the top of the table and keep that gap, even despite how minimal it is now. Because at one point, like, Barcelona were 8th, and I was like, oh, we're not even worried about them this year. Like, it's going to be between us and Real Madrid. But now they're there again, and it's just like, I really cannot cope if we bottle it at this point, because as I say, we've literally been first for pretty much most of the season. So if they bottle it at that point, it's absolutely terrible, especially obviously the players that they have got and the form that they have got. So I don't want to get carried away and say that, because at one point I was like, it's ours to lose now, and then obviously it just we're like, it's not anymore.
You can't account for the virus.
Yeah, it's close again, so I don't want to get too confident and say that it is ours again, because it might not be. And as we've seen in the Premier League, like, things are just so tight at certain points. I mean, not really the title race now in the Premier League, but second and below is so tight. So yeah, I don't want to get too confident about that either, to be honest.
All right, cool. Ryan also had a question asking how good Suarez has been this season. Saying, for me, he's the best player I've ever seen play for my club. I think he's the best striker of the last 15 years. And he's had a nice little remontada at Atletico Madrid as well. Barcelona, last few years, he was still performing, but not to his high standards. And everyone was saying he was just starting to reach his decline. He's come back to Atletico Madrid. He's having one of his best seasons of his career. What's been happening with him this season?
Well, he's just, in my opinion, like, I don't think one player can change a whole DNA of a team, but he's brought something that, yes, Atleti have had like a lot of great strikers over the last couple of years. You know, it's something that they're known for, and they have had a lot of great forwards. But he's just, because Simeone was known for park the bus football. At first when we signed Suarez, I was like, that's a very strange like signing. It's not a Simeone signing, if you will. I just thought that's odd. But then he's come in, he's just been absolute like an amazing, like the dynamic of the team's completely changed with the introduction of him. I love him and Felix together. I really do, and I want to see it more because I love that partnership. I love, obviously, I keep saying it, but Carrasco and Llorente with Suarez, he's just a goal poacher. So on the end of their balls, he's phenomenal. And I think I think he scored 18 goals, possibly 17 or 18 goals now this season. So it's like him and Messi at the top for the Pichichi Award, or however you say it, which is obviously top scorer in La Liga. So he's been phenomenal. He's just been really, really good. And we just haven't had a solid like talisman, like goal scorer like that for a while, because obviously it was Costa who, yes, he scores goals, but just not to the level of Suarez, in my opinion. So yeah, he's been really, really great. Reductions completely changed the attack and mindset of the team.
I think, to be honest, another thing as well, what it is, I don't know if I mentioned this before the previous game, but it's just having a manager as well that believes in you.
Yeah,
like that can be a big thing. We saw, I don't know how much people saw when Koeman came in, his attitude towards Suarez, but it just was so disrespectful. And now he's got a manager in charge that respects him and wants him and everything. It can make a massive difference. And I think I may not like Suarez that much as a person, but as a player, I'm happy it's going well for him because he deserves it based on how he was treated.
Yeah. You're on mute.
You're muted, mate.
Fuck's sakes, can't be asked. Yeah, but with that in mind, I was going to ask you as well now, what lineup would you like to see for the Chelsea Atletico Madrid game, and what would you want to see your team do differently to the last match?
Obviously, I want us to go out more attacking this time, because last time, yes, obviously you set up like Suarez and Felix, but it wasn't a case of where I thought that was going to work. Like, I don't know. I wasn't confident. I'm not confident again this time, really, but I am more confident now that players are back. So I think they have been playing 4-1-4-1 now that everybody's back, but I doubt that's going to be. I just doubt that they're going to put Suarez up there by himself. So that was the last formation. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're definitely a back four this time, not a back three. I honestly thought at the time when I saw the lineup that we'd set up 4-4-2, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I was buzzing over it. I was like, 4-4-2. I never thought I'd be so glad over 4-4-2, but it didn't end up being like that. So I think it'll be Trippier, Savic, Jimenez, Hermoso probably, because I just can't really see him being dropped, even though he was kind of obviously at fault for the Giroud goal. I just can't really see him being dropped. I think it's probably, maybe it's going to be like 4-3-3 if that's how you want to look at it. And then I think it'll be Carrasco, obviously. It might even be 4-4-2 this time. Now I'm just thinking about it, just based on everybody back. So Carrasco, Llorente on the wings, probably Koke, and I don't know who will start in midfield, because it could be Saul, but now obviously all this news is coming out. I don't know if that's where they're gonna go. I don't actually know. And then I would like to see obviously Felix and Suarez up front, but Simeone's got something going on with Correa. I don't know. He just loves Correa, so I wouldn't be actually surprised if he made an appearance somewhere along the line. But obviously, as Simeone said, probably Felix and Suarez are both going to play, so I think that's probably where it's going to go. And obviously, all black in goal, because that's just a given.
Correa as well. I remember I was looking back on a few of the Atletico Madrid games, some of the reports coming out for him. He's been really frustrating you guys, hasn't he?
He's so annoying. Like, I just wouldn't have him starting. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, maybe in like the games where, you know, where you're playing like, I don't know, Getafe. I mean, I just played Getafe, it was 0-0, like, but just for example, like that, where you probably don't need the dynamism of Suarez and Felix together, I would maybe start Correa there. But Simeone just loves him. Like, I just don't know why. Like, I can see it sometimes, and I can see like breaths of fresh air, and he'll do something really good. But then the rest of the time, he's mega frustrating, and I just don't really see why he should be starting. But again, like that's something that's annoyed a lot of us, and like a lot of Atleti fans who I follow on Twitter and stuff have said the same. So I know it's not just me. Thank God, which it usually is. But yeah, I don't really see it. But for some reason, Simeone likes him and he likes playing in there. So I guess it's just you've got to live with at this point.
No, I hear that. Scott as well. What's your lineup that you want to see for this game as well? Who do you want to see start?
I would want to see. I think the back four speaks for itself. The back four in my meaning in terms of the keeper and the three speaks for itself. I don't think Thiago Silva, whether he's fit or not, should come back into this game. I've said this before. He should be back for the West Brom game after the international break, because he would have had all this time to rest. He would have had the week off to train as much as he can, and then come back in for that game. I think the back four should stay the same. In terms of the wing backs, I think based on the fact that we are ahead and we probably will need to see some of the game out at some point, I think James and Alonso should start. I think Chilwell's done nothing to show that he should be starting, and we saw in the previous game Alonso was so good. I don't see why he shouldn't start. And I think James needs to start because he offers a bit more defensive solidity, but also because of someone else I want to start further up the pitch. In midfield, it's got to be Kovacic and Kante. Apart from Gilmour coming in, there's no other option. No one else can play. You muted again, by the way.
Oh no, I was just saying, just too many players suspended for this match. The biggest question for me, I think, is the wing backs. Because do you go for Hudson-Odoi or Reece James on the right, or do you go for Marcos Alonso or Chilwell on the left? And it's a weird one because I'd rather go for Ben Chilwell on ability, but his form just completely doesn't justify it. So I feel like we are going to be forced to go for Alonso. And he had a good game against him in the first leg too. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like Alonso should play just because form-wise he's been better. In the last game he was very good. Like for me, he was up there as probably one of the best three players on the pitch by the end of the game. I think he was that good. In terms of on the right, I want to see Reece James there simply because, as I said, because he offers a bit more defensive solidity, but also I want to see Hudson-Odoi further up. The front three I want to see is the same as the Everton one. I want Havertz to be the false nine. I want Werner to play on the left. I don't know which he played, left or right, and then Hudson-Odoi to be the other side. I don't know which way around it was. Can't remember which way around it was. But yeah, because that way Kai can actually play as the false nine and not like the actual proper nine he was playing against Leeds, because the two he was next to offered nothing going forward. And it means that should Atletico come out a bit more and their defense step up a little bit, we've got the pace to get in behind them, because we as good as their defense is, they're not the quickest. We've seen this before with Trippier. He's not that quick. Their back line, their centre backs are quite tall and not as mobile, apart from I'd say Hermoso, but it's likely he'll be playing left back, I assume. So I think that's I can see Giroud starting, but personally, I can't remember who said it. Someone said it on the live yesterday. I'd bring him on with like 30 minutes to go if we're trying to see the game out. I wouldn't start him. It'd be a case of I bring him on if it's, I don't know, like say we're winning 1-0 or it's still 0-0 and we're trying to hold on. You bring Giroud on to slow the game down and hold the ball up.
I get that, but I also feel because Atletico Madrid are going to play defensive for this game, regardless of however we want to look at it. We need someone that's going to be able to bring those balls down into the ground, and someone who's going to be able to challenge in the air. When, for example, the keeper's putting a ball out, it would be good to get to an Olivier Giroud who can take it down and try and find the player afterwards. I get there's deficiencies, like he ain't really going to be able to press like that. He is still going to be slow. It is Olivier Giroud, but there's going to be strengths that he offers to our team that I just don't think anybody else does.
True, but I think Kai can do that same job depending on who he has next to him. That's the thing. Like we saw against Leeds where he was dropping deep, but he had no one to link up the play to because the people he was trying to link the play with were as deep as he was. No one was running on behind him. And that's why I feel as though if you have Werner and Hudson-Odoi, you can have Kai hold the ball up and lay it off to them behind. And that's like he can do that job. Like for those who watched at Leverkusen, he can hold the ball up. He can do all the things that Giroud can do. It just he needs others around him to be doing their part as well. So I think it depends. If for example Ziyech plays, which I swear to God I hope he doesn't, or like then Giroud probably should start because I think his hold up play in that situation with Ziyech would be better and he's better in the air. but I think Kai can do the same job as long as he has other players around him.
Okay. So, with that in mind as well, we'll just go for score predictions. Yeah, at this point, Kendall, we'll start with you. What's your score prediction for this game?
I said 2-1 Atleti yesterday, so that's what I'll stick with.
2-1 Atletico Madrid. Yeah, I get that, and I'll send you guys through on away goals too. Scott, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to go the same, but the other way around. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. All right, cool. I'm going to go 1-0. I still feel like it's going to be a very tight game between the pair of us. Atletico Madrid will come out a little bit more, but I also do think if our defense can keep 2 clean sheets and 2 ties in this game, that is a massive statement for all 3 of them. So I would like to see us try and keep a clean sheet in this game. But yeah, guys, I do think we're going to end it on this. No, I'm going to keep it a short stream for you guys. But I do hope you guys have enjoyed this match preview. Smash the like and subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already. Check us out tomorrow. We'll be back here for an official lineup reaction about half an hour to an hour before the game starts. And yeah, take care, like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Up the Chels.